I now call the September 11th, 2018 school committee meeting to order. And we will now proceed with the roll call. Max.
Mr. Bishop.
Excused.
Ms. Duval.
Present.
Dr. Page.
Present.
Ms. Peliquin.
Excused.
Ms. Ryan.
Present.
Ms. Shea.
Present.
Mr. Thomo.
Present.
5 present, 2 excused.
Thank you. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would now ask members to please recognize a moment of silence for those lost in the tragic events of 9/11. Thank you. We will now move on to public input. Is there anybody in the audience tonight that would like to address the school committee? Again, I would ask, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the school committee tonight? Seeing no movement, we will move on to the next agenda item. Item number 4, discussion of minutes. Is there anyone here who would like to amend the minutes? Just as a reminder, we cannot vote on these minutes, but we can amend them. I have a couple of amendments I'd like to make. Under agenda item number 5, new business, under section B, budget, I would just like to add the following statement. Ms. Ryan also stated she had a copy of the Munis contract for those interested. Also under agenda item number 7, I just want to change some of the language here to Ms. Shea nominate Ms. Ryan as voting delegate instead of member of the delegate. And I would also change section B as well to Ms. Peliquin nominated Ms. Shea as alternate delegate instead of alternate member. And that's all the edits I have. Are there any other edits, additions to the minutes? Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item number 5, the receiver and superintendent updates. Dr. Villar.
Thank you. I'd like to begin this evening by introducing our new student representative from Southbridge High School. Rebecca Dillon, who is seated to my left, is a 12th grade student at Southbridge High School. She's an active participant in Student Council, the National Honor Society, the marching and concert bands, and plays tennis. Rebecca is a Rensselaer medalist and involved in community service such as lunch events for the elderly, the Southbridge Community Cleanup. She's worked hard to achieve in a classroom where she has completed advanced placement language and composition last year, and she's currently enrolled in AP Literature, Composition, AP Calculus, and AP Statistics. So that's quite a heavy workload. And so I'm very pleased to welcome her as our student representative. Very, very impressed with your background and pleased that you could be here this evening. And I understand that you have a brief report that you could share with us about events at the high school.
Yes. First, I'd like to thank everyone here for giving me the opportunity to talk about my school on its behalf and its future events and programs that it will be having. The first couple of weeks have been very packed full so far, but they have been teaching me a lot about college and life lessons for the rest of my life, like time management. So I am very grateful for everything that the school has to offer. I'd like to start off with Ms. Landine's announcement. She is the teacher in charge of the student council of SHS, and she would first like to say that student council is looking for any community services and to contact her at Ms. Landine And then she also invites the community to the ETSHS homecoming game, which kicks off Friday, October 12th, as a home game against Tantascwa. Many groups will be selling concessions that night, so please join. And we will also be having the homecoming dance that Saturday 13th at Collab Gym. She would also like to say, along with the rest of the ELA department, that they are very impressed with the maturity and insight displayed revolving around the book, the summer reading novel, The Hate U Give. And they are also very thankful to the staff, parents, and community members who read the novel and contributed to the conversations. I would also like to say that there are college opportunities that are coming up during the school day. Many colleges are coming to visit the school. Today we received our first college visit of Houston University, and we will be having many more added to it up until so far, the most updated schedule up until the 25th of this month, and many more will be added, such as Framingham State on the 24th, Nichols College the 21st, UMass Lowell the 20th, Anna Maria College the 18th, University of New England the 17th, UMass Boston the 14th. And then lastly, I would also like to say that band has many opportunities for that will be playing at many football games, such as the 28th of this month, October 12th, the 26th, and a few November games. Recently, we played at the September 7th game, which was our first home game, which was a very, very close game. We almost won. And we will also be playing at the Autumn Fest this year on the 22nd of this month, and we'll be performing the Star Spangled Banner along with a few other pieces. That's it. Thank you.
Super, thank you very much. I look forward to future reports. I'm sure we all are looking forward to a student perspective, so thank you. To continue with my report, the opening of school was successful. We began with convocation with all of the district staff meeting. We were pleased this year that we had an internationally respected and well-known researcher from the University of Connecticut, Dr. George Sugai, address our staff around our efforts to improve climate and culture in this school and to engage students in meaningfully and positive ways. George has over 4 decades of experience in researching this and is used across the country and the globe to help address climate issues, and has an awful lot to offer, and I think staff found him quite insightful. We were also very pleased that we had the Commissioner of Education, Mr. Jeff Riley, address our faculty this year, and he also brought a message about the power of teachers and the importance of engaging students and how that can impact children for their entire lives. So we're very appreciative of both of those gentlemen providing their time to us and helping inspire our staff as we get down to the hard work of running and leading the schools and interacting with students. Of course, school this year, as the summer waned, it got cool, but then as soon as we opened school, we had our heat wave. So we did reach out to parents and asked for students to wear light clothes, to bring water bottles, and food services and custodial staff stepped up by making water available to students in our elementary schools. Our high school rep can attest to the fact that her building was air conditioned, so not an issue for the middle and high school. But we did take efforts to make sure kids were able to move out of some of our warmer rooms, but it was a difficult period of time. Thanks to our teachers for sticking it out. It's hard to keep pushing while folks are quite hot, but I did feel it was important that we provided kids with as safe an environment as possible and consistency as we move through the school year. And thanks to custodial staff for putting out every fan owned by the Southbridge Public Schools, which comes to be quite a few as you walk through our schools. As we move forward this school year, I want to make sure I continue to report on our efforts around curriculum instruction, and so we are implementing a consistent language arts program. I mentioned in the spring that we were working with a group, Bay State Reading Institute, which now refers to themselves as Momenta, a name change. With the assistance of that group, we've identified resources previously purchased by the district. I felt that was quite important, that we could pull together to form an aligned curriculum that would help meet our reading and writing needs at the elementary level. So we're using a National Geographic materials and quite a few other resources, and have focused our professional development for teachers on that, and that will happen the entire school year. And we are making progress through the leadership team to do that. We're also focused again on climate and culture, and so we have already begun our walkthroughs in our schools, where the leadership team is providing feedback, looking for information to suggest whether or not our efforts are slowly beginning to take hold, and we're seeing changes in classrooms, changes in hallways, cafeterias, et cetera, and we'll continue to do that work throughout the year. There's quite a bit involved in our approach. It's often referred to positive behaviors, interventions, and supports. It's a climate initiative that's really focused on clear expectations, explaining and teaching expected behaviors, reinforcing those behaviors in a positive manner. That does not mean that we're not disciplining children, as we all know. That certainly is a part of this equation. But there's a lot of power in just, for example, greeting a child at the door. It's actually research proven to help diffuse situations in classrooms. And it's a simple request, but it does, as any teacher on the panel knows, changing your teaching practice takes time. So we'll continue to support our folks as we move through that initiative. At the secondary level, we spent 4 hours today actually at our high school, middle school. Again, looking at climate and culture, and also beginning the dialogue around improvement in language arts and mathematics. And we have partners that will be helping our teachers in those departments as we begin to look at the curricular alignment and support instruction in those areas. I'm really excited to share, for those of you who may not have heard, through the good work of Assistant Superintendent Margot Farrick and her team, the district has been awarded a $350,000 21st Century Schools grant that will allow us to provide extended day opportunities for children in our elementary and middle school. This is a significant grant that allows us to be eligible for repeat awards in years to come. And we are working with community partners such as the Y and other organizations to provide now an extended day opportunity for kids in these grades. So it's super exciting, and I wanted to thank Mrs. Farrick for her hard work in that grant application, and Javier Gutierrez, who's no longer with us, but worked to the last second to make sure that we were successful with that application. So I wanted to thank them as well for that hard work. It's really going to pay off, I think, for the district as we begin to look for extended school day opportunities. I've already pressed Ms. Farrick, and I'm saying it publicly, we need to figure out a way to do this at our high school too. So we're trying to find how we can build off of that, because kids need extended learning experiences in our schools. We need to make sure that we provide a full day experience for kids. So that's some very good news that I'm pleased to share with you this evening. So thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on to agenda item 5B. The next meeting is Tuesday, October 9th, 2018 at 7 p.m. right here in council chambers. I will also be keeping all of you updated as to the date, which we haven't finalized yet, for a joint meeting between the school committee and town council for our superintendent receiver update to the state of our schools. And that moves on to 6, chairman's announcements. So I have a couple of quick things. First, I'd like to welcome Rebecca personally to the school committee. I started my involvement in school committee at the age of 15, being a student member on Tantascwa. So, and I really respect students who come forward and get involved in the educational system in such a degree. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to getting your insight on a lot of issues going forward. I'd also like to say I was at the first day of school for teachers along with Ms. Shea. It was a wonderful day. It was my 3rd time going. I really enjoy going every year, and Mr. Sugai was quite inspirational, so I was happy to be there. I think Yeah, that is it. And now we will move on to member forum. We will start on this side tonight. Ms. Duval.
I just want to welcome Miss Dillon to, not Dillon, Dillon to come and be with us. I have seen you many times playing the band, and I really appreciate you coming with us. Thank you.
Ms. Shea?
I also would like to thank Rebecca for joining us. I think it's a wonderful thing. Love positive students. I just want you to know I did my homework, I did my summer reading, and enjoyed the book very much also. I do have at least one question. I'd like a report on whether we have enough supplies and materials for the students. I had heard somewhere, and I don't know whether it's true or not, that in at least one classroom there weren't enough math books. I'd like a report on how, that we're completely equipped for the year. We had to cut the budget severely, and I just want to be sure that students have what they really need.
Yeah, thank you. Certainly, any principal that brings the need for materials to my attention, we find a way to make sure we have those, so that's actually news. At the elementary level, I know that we have multiple programs that have been purchased in the last 3 years, and that's an area that we're going to bring some clarity.
I think it was something about that different students were using different materials, and they didn't have quite enough for the program, for the children's IEPs.
So, thank you, and we'll look into that. IEP certainly should be using the mainstream curriculum, so Mrs. Farrick and I will take a look at that. So thank you.
Mr. Thomo.
Thank you. Dr. Vlad, do you have any numbers yet on, in regards to school choice? How many students have we lost this year? Has it leveled off? I mean, I know we lose X amount to BACAT, that's automatic. But in regards to everything else, Old Sturbridge Village, just an idea for the public?
Yeah, thank you. So obviously October 1 is the cutoff count date. The projections that we received in the spring looked as if things were in fact leveling off, that we weren't losing large numbers of students to schools that we had in the past. It appears that our enrollment is somewhat stable to what it was last year. But again, until you get the October 1 count, it's hard to know for sure. I'm actually, one of our initiatives is looking at attendance. And so I've been following attendance at our schools very closely. I actually should announce, and again, kudos to Ms. Farrick and her team's work. The school with the best attendance percentage right now is Southbridge Academy, which says a lot about their efforts to engage those students. So again, they lead the district in student daily attendance percentage. But it appears on those numbers that we're relatively stable. More will come as we get to the October 1 count.
When you have that count, could you share that with us?
Sure. After October 1, we'll be happy to report out what our enrollment is, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Page?
I just want to say welcome, Ms. Dillon, and thank you for serving in this capacity. And other than that, I'm all set. Thank you.
I did forget briefly one thing I wanted to mention. I wanted to thank Dr. Villar for his efforts on the heat wave situation. I had been in contact with his office multiple times about that situation due to concern from parents, so I appreciate his willingness to keep in contact with me, and I kept the public posted. So I thank you again, Dr. Villar, for making sure our students were safe.
Thank you.
And do we have any other members that would like to speak to anything? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? It was unanimous. The meeting is now adjourned.